We meet the first and third Tuesday, 9 o'clock MDT. You can see the different communities out here. Be sure to go out there and review them. Subscribe to the notifications, log into YouTube chat so we can talk and make sure that we have sound, obviously. And again, in the description after it's posted, we'll have the download links to this particular presentation and links to references. So today's presentation, you can download there, and I'm only putting it in there because we're going to cut it out. We're going to cut out the dead space. Okay, there's the upcoming list. We also have the upcoming list out on the community website so that you can see what's coming up. We have 5 new German videos. The presentation and the video demonstration is in English, but the audio is in German. So if you're familiar with the product, you can still see what's going on. Be sure to go out to the Community Ideas Exchange page so that you can give your input. A couple of things for the community. The Google had a major disruptive changes for Android devices. So if you're using ZCM and you have Android devices, be sure to read this article. Okay, it's very important. They've done some changes, so we have to obviously adjust. The other thing is Google is now is terminating the less secure apps. So Gmail, you now have to have OAuth. So here's another article that that you need to go out there and look at. One thing it affected, obviously, was Service Desk, and you can see here that Service Desk is essential with email, is essential for Service Desk. So go out here, there's an FTF out there. The next revision, 831, which comes out late August, will have the GUI version in it. But if you're running any Google connection for email, be sure to read this document. And then Exchange Online. So remember also Exchange and O365 is going to modern authentication in October. So again, be aware of that so you can mitigate before that actually happens. Here's a list of new docs that are out there. So I started putting in TIDs here. So if you have things that you need to do like stack and heap dumps, dynamic account creations, Postgres maintenance, those types of things, I put them in the list. We don't need to go over all of them, but I wanted to make sure they're there. And also the Spring for Shell vulnerability. Okay. New things coming down the line, TTP. If you don't know about that organization, they do a lot of collaboration, community, and events, and one is coming up. We'll get to the next slide. Also, Cuppinger-Cole analysts on UEM. So TTP, you can go out to the ttp.org, and you can sign up there if you wish to. And then Cuppinger-Cole also gave us, we were in their article about unified endpoint management. Good article. So if you're interested, there's those. Also, other live casts like Filer, GroupWise, and OES iPrint and messaging. You can sign up for a monthly webinar, and Robin Redgraves takes care of that. So we're doing this more and more in the community, so we hope that you enjoy this. And this is the forum you're looking for. TTP is helping with the Technical Insights Conference, which is June and July. Yeah, it started this week. And next week, I'm going to be next week I'm going to be presenting one as well. So be aware that those are there. There is next week a UK summit. It's a live event. So if you're interested in a live event, you're in the UK, you'd like to go, Micro Focus is hosting a summit there. So please go out there and join them, but you can register here. Okay. It starts in one day, so it's this week. I thought it was next week. Time flies. And then we have, of course, the universe. Different. We had this back in March, and you could actually see different sessions that you might be interested in. All right. Some of the things that are coming out, we do have the latest version that's out. ZCM is version 2020 update 2, and we have the latest FTF. Why don't I have my mouse? Latest FTF is out there, so 1005. Next ZENcast, we're going to talk about how to deploy these. These are basically cumulative updates. So if you went to update 2 and you applied the 998, which is for the log4j, you could then go directly to 1005 and you'll get all the fixes in between. So next week next ZENcast, we're going to be covering how to install these and what to do. There's a what's new on update 2. There's a cookbook on update 2. ZRS 7.8, again, same thing. And 8.3 is the latest version for Service Desk. And we're currently working on 8.3.1. And they're currently working on update 3. There's a beta out there now. And then MFDC version 22.1 is out there. We will be releasing MFDC 22.4 in about a week. So look for that if you're using that. That's what we're going to cover today. So I threw this slide in here as far as futures. Some of the futures is we're currently in the U3 beta, and that's going well. Imaging Driver and Tuxera update is hopefully coming out soon. They're working hard on it, trying to get with the SUSE people and getting that all taken care of. Some of the update 3 enhancements, I asked the product manager, Darren Vandebos and Vikram Goyal about these, and so they gave me a list. This is only a short list, right? A couple of the features for 8.3.1, Exchange and O365 modern authentication, Google OAuth as we talked about, Azure AD support, those types of things. MFDC 22.4, hybrid workspaces. It's all about remote working. It's been that way for a couple of years now, so we're going into heavily into application streaming and hybrid workspaces. So you have your workspace when you log in and you can do things, and we'll talk about that today. Recap on last week, we did some system requirements. We talked about databases and whether it was a Service Desk database or a ZCM database. We talked about databases, and the recap is basically we talked about connections, tools, references, scenarios, commands, query examples, etc. So that's what we did last week. If you want to see that, you can go out to, again, our Support and Training YouTube channel, and we will you'll see the recording there. Today we're talking about app streaming and advantages, right? What are the advantages to app streaming? We can go ahead and minimize that. There's some things that URL protocol handlers we're going to cover, file extensions, T-Drive files in the browser, and then of course Studio packaging to package those isolated applications. And then it is an alternative to VDI. So some of the things we've been seeing out there is sometimes companies just need to launch a particular application in a virtual space and not have to download or install different things on the device, especially home computers, that type of thing. Well, this takes it a step further. You can actually do this. You can launch those applications more cost effectively and on different platforms. All right, not just a VDI platform or a VM platform or Citrix or something, but you can actually do it in an HTML5 browser. Okay, and we're going to talk about workspaces a lot. So you can launch apps safely. They're isolated. There's a zero install on the OS, keeping users safe from bad clicks. So if they click on something they're not supposed to, it's in a virtual space, so you don't have to worry too much about that. And work from any platform. So let's give that a look here as we talk about that. We're going to do a few things in the lab. Let me bring up some details that I'm looking for. So you'll see me look over a little bit. And that's because I have my cheat sheet over here. Gotcha. All right. So let's bring up. All right. Let's see. This is our workspace. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually, I think I want, let me try something here. Give me a little bit more room. Okay. So we actually want this guy. We're going over to, let's go here. Cancel. Hang on. I want this. Where are you? Cancel. All right. We are going to cancel this. Go full screen, didn't I? Let's do this. Take ownership. Oh, that's not good. All right. Well, that's where my backup comes in. We're going to go to here. All right. So currently we are, let me log out. I logged out the other one. I don't know why it's not presenting. So as far as a workspace, as a remote user, we're going to go ahead and log in to this remote workspace. All right, and so this is my workspace, and you can have multiple workspaces, maybe different departments, or you have a separate workspace for security stuff or whatever. But this would be an example of a workspace, and okay, and so you could download the Turbo for Windows Client, but in a sense, if you wanted to launch, for instance, Notepad++, I don't have Notepad++ installed on this particular device. So it's going to go out there and it's going to try and install. It's faster on my other device. I'm going to try one more time to see if I can go out there and get it. But this will work. Let me go over here. This guy is what I want. Yeah, he's not coming up. Oh, there we go. Okay. This one will keep it in the frame a little bit better. So let's go ahead and log in, and let's go to oops. So we're logging into our portal. We're going to accept. One thing about this is it gives me these weird backgrounds. So again, you saw where I loaded up Notepad++ here from the main screen, and you can see I'm going to start typing something here. We're going to go, this is ZENcast, and I'm just going to go ahead and I need to leave, right? So I lock my desktop. I then go over to my other VM at home, and you notice here that there's a green dot here. So I can go ahead and open this up. It'll prepare the session. And as it logs in for me at that session, we'll get terminated at the other session. So I'm going to actually show you that as well once it loads up. The other thing is the admin. So we have an admin console as well. Good old demo gods, right? All right. Talk a little bit more about spaces, workspaces, while that comes up. Normally it's fairly quick. So applications, you could put different applications in here. You could just launch things if you wanted to. If you right click, you can do it in the cloud, or you can install on my PC that particular virtual app, right? So, and when I say install, it's not doing a full-fledged install. It's bringing down the executable for the virtual application. So it isn't installed. It's nothing more than just a file and a couple of links so that it works, okay? So be aware that when it says install on my PC, it's installing the virtual app, which is the full complex. If it was Office or Word, it would be in a single install location that could be easily removed without any problem. So Notepad is still coming up. We'll wait for it. I think this one isn't going to work as well. Okay, or run Microfocus. Again, you can run Microfocus here. Let's see if any of these launch very well. If not, I will go to my other session, my backup session. Did this one come up? This one did not come up. Okay, we're having problems with this virtual Windows machine. Okay. That's a bummer. So working last night when I was testing. I'm sorry. Let's go and let's go over here to this guy. It was trying to attempt to log in for Notepad++, so it gave us these details. This is what I wanted to show you, that it was disconnected, initiated by administrator tool in another session. So it disconnects a session. It's basically a session handoff for you. So that should work really well as far as getting to those sites. Let me go to apps demo biz. But let's go ahead and open that back up from this device, see if it comes up okay. And then if we go to, wow, see, the other one was much better. Maybe I just need to restart the browser itself. Yeah, I'm going to give it another go. Of course, it's probably going to confuse everything now that I got multiples coming. But here's your workspaces. All right. Then we have files. So if you have a T drive that's connected, and when I say T drive, what this is you can configure, and let's go to the configuration because that's really where we want to go. You can configure different items in your workspace. Get this presented better for you. So if you wanted to, so we go back to the hub. The hub is where your applications are. Okay. And these are where you could see what's out there. We currently have these 5 applications, which you saw in my workspace. There's other things out there as well, some other images. It also can go through API links, okay, so that you're able to take advantage of that. The users are out here, and you can manage users and see who's connected or disconnected. So if I did Pedron, should search for me, and it could see that I'm active, okay? So you can then disconnect. So you can do some management here. Directory services, you can see what's connected, and then the authentication method if you need to have a single sign-on or other types of authentications, and then the device keys. Okay. Domain obviously is where you're going to have your server and how you contact. In this case, it's my demo biz, right? And then you can see your servers out here. You can see your settings on those servers and what it's using. You have some default launch modes here, running cloud, and so forth, right? And you designate how they're ran. And when you have running cloud in HTML5, that'll be the browser, and then running cloud windowed would be not an extra browser tab, but an actual window type looking frame. All right, so you can do that as well. So that makes it really essential and comfortable for users when they're used to the Windows workspace, if that's what they're constantly using, to be able to see that particular workspace. But when we go into this, we only have one workspace in here right now. And if we go into general, we can see this is our default workspace in our path. Since there's only one workspace, we could see that when we go to applications, this is it. We're in our default workspace. If there's multiples and you went to workspace, you would see multiple workspaces here. Okay. So let's go ahead, and we're managing that particular workspace. There's our general. And our URL handlers, really, really cool. You can actually specify, well, let me play a quick video. Hopefully we got sound on this. I'll have to walk you through this, but let's do your videos on this. I'd like to open that file. Let's make sure it's over here. Come on now. maybe on my other screen. Oh, brother. That I didn't plan for. I would like to open it, but I would like to open it on this screen over here. There we go. Let's see if I can move this. Now, if I go full screen, it's going to go over here. Hang on. Oh, technology. Where would we be without technology? Let's go here. Here we go. All right. So URL handlers. Let's back up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and log in. So look at Coinbase.com. We're going to specify Coinbase.com. Anybody going out to Coinbase.com because they're doing some financial transactions or whatever, we want to make sure that it doesn't go to our regular browser. We want it to go to a virtual browser. So we're going to set it up for Coinbase.com, and we're going to run it in the cloud as HTML. We're going to add it. So now we have some configurations for that. And we're just going to use a base domain, which is Coinbase.com. So anytime you go to Coinbase.com, it will then bring up a virtual, okay? It's just a lightweight way to access corporate data or doing transactions in the cloud. So now when we go to Coinbase, you can see it starts preparing the session and it starts launching the application, which then brings up a streamed virtual browser with Coinbase. Now anything done in here is virtual and isolated, so you don't have to worry about it infecting the device or those types of things, because it's all within a virtual space. So that is what we wanted to present here, is that you can actually go to a domain and have a URL handler. In this case, it's going to be just a base domain, but you can also do protocol. You can do starts with, you can run in different ways in this particular case. Okay. So in this particular case, you can see a couple more. There's one here that we're going to QBitTorrent or a mail to, which we're using protocols. So we're going to go over to, I think, BitTorrent next. All right, and we're going to run it via protocol. So if you actually had a particular protocol that you wanted to go to, in this case, we're just picking this website, it'll actually prompt you and say, do you want to always use this? If there's multiple ways of opening it, for instance, if you had an Excel virtual and an Excel on your desktop, it would prompt you and say, which one do you want to open with? Okay. So this helps keep the user safe as well. But this in this particular case, we're doing a particular protocol for torrents, and it comes up in a, again, virtual session, and it's trying to connect now. It's preparing, continuing the session, opening the session, and there you go. BitTorrent is up, and that application is running. Okay, so works really, really well in that particular case. I need to go to here and see if anybody's chatting. Okay. So good. Yeah, that's protocol. And then there's an email protocol as well. So if you have email configured on your desktop, and you may not want to, down at the bottom there, they're typing in email to, basically in a command line, and it opens up Gmail in this particular case. Okay, so there's a Google Workspace, and you now have email up and running. So email to protocol. So different protocols will actually open up different virtual apps as well. So it's not just clicking on an icon anymore, but it's helping control the user's ability to get to what they need to in the right fashion. The next one is file associations. Let's see if I have the same fuss with this one. Oh, there we go. Okay. So in this particular case, notice that I don't have Excel on this box at all. All right. We're going to register with Turbo with a command line, and you could see XLS is now on that box. XLS is configured in the registry, and you could see now these particular spreadsheets, their icons are visible and they know what it is. And now when you click on them, even though Excel is not on this box, it'll start that session up and it'll look like a normal Excel spreadsheet. Okay. OS only, local desktop, you register with the app server, one command line, file associations brought in. And then when you select the file, it looks and does a redirection to the virtual streaming apps in that workspace. So it's very effective to not even have, and it looks just like Excel. This is the windowed version, right? So it looks just like what the users would be comfortable with. And that's the importance. And then we have the files from the T drive. Let's open this up. And you can see here, in this particular case, we have files in there and it's configured on OneDrive. You can see here, OneDrive. And it's actually linked in. So if you were to actually select a spreadsheet, it would actually go to OneDrive, open it up, you can modify it, and then you could save it, and it'll save at OneDrive. So now you've taken the data, it doesn't have to be emailed to somebody. You can provide them a link and a virtual app, and they can work on that spreadsheet without it being removed from the corporate infrastructure, keeping it secure. Okay, and they have all the full functionality of this Excel through this virtual app. Okay, those are the exciting things that really are coming up that came up in 21.4. You could do this with Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, and Filer. Okay. Those are the three presentations I wanted to do, but so if we go back to the administration console and we go to administration and let me see where we'll go into workspaces, default workspace, and we'll go to manage again. Whoops, I've clicked the wrong thing, sorry. Workspaces, manage. This background thing. All right. And so if we look at general, again, here are the URL handlers that I was talking about. Okay. And then the application, these are the applications that I currently have available. Of course, you can add more. And then the launch mode. How do you want to launch them? Do you want it to come down on the local PC? That requires some rights and permissions, obviously. So inside the network, it works real well. Outside the network, there obviously has to be some permissions added. But the running cloud and running cloud window are not. So the examples you saw were running cloud windows. Okay. And then the file associations, which we talked about for the T drive. The file associations for the extensions on the file, like the XLSX. This is where we put Notepad as an INI. Anytime you click on a Notepad, ++, it'll open up Notepad virtual app, or TXT, it would do the same. All right, so that's the file associations there that really are, these are new developments in this, which really makes running virtual applications much easier to use. So I will try one last time on my demo to go here. Let's go here. Okay. Integrations. Here's the integrations for the storage providers. And if we did add, you could see here that we have OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, and Filer. Again, you can share these once they're shared with the user. The T drive, you'd have a shared with me, and the file would be there from another person, and you could actually edit it and work on it, right? So that's some of the great enhancements. That's where the locations are for the different setups. We're going to try one more thing, as I mentioned. Is this my, yeah, this is it. So let's go, let's try a couple things. We're going to go here, run, and we'll open a command line just so we have it. Run, we're going to do a reg edit. HK classes, HK local machine. And then we go to software classes. And if we go to .ini, okay, you can see that it's just nothing else added in here. It's just going to open it up with whatever default is there, right? And then if we look at the .txt, oops, same thing. And I hope to show you, oh, this one I already ran it. So this is where the notepad is in there. By default, it's going to open up Notepad, right? And Notepad is not installed. Okay, I think I didn't reset this particular one, but what we will do is logging in, we can download this particular one, and I have it downloaded actually, or do I? Downloads, let's see if it's in downloads. Yeah, so let's go ahead and launch this. Run as administrator. Continue. All right, so we're installing the Turbo client so that we can do a little bit of registration. And if we go and do Turbo, oh, it's not installed, hang on. We have to do this. Run as, oops. And looking to see if that's the, good. And then if we go to CD users, all right, if we do Turbo client, I don't think it installed previously because you had to be in as an administrator. There we go, registering and so forth. All right. Now in this particular case, Notepad isn't installed. We've looked in the registry. We've seen, we can close this now. We've seen things by default, it'll do Notepad, right? Not Notepad++. It's by default, any TXT will be Notepad. All right. So if we do a, we're going to obviously need to configure Turbo. So we're going to do Turbo config domain, and our domain is https apps.mydemo.biz. It's going. Oh, I got to go. It's Turbo Desktop. Let me go. Oh, I need to go in the directory. Hang on. Let's go back over here. See where that's configured. Turbo.net. More. Yeah, not there. It's in the apps. Roaming. Honestly, I forgot where Turbo. What I wanted it over here. can find it real quick. Yeah. Come on now. All right. I can minimize this for now. I must have missed a step in my cheat sheet. Apologies here. We are waiting for this to find it. So again, some of the details here would be you can integrate this with ZENworks to launch applications or virtual applications, those packaged images. You can also integrate it for installing this particular client, those types of things. So, but on the home device, being able to get it through the HTML browser is also an option, them just logging into the workspace itself. So we are out under App Data Local, CD, App Data Local, Turbo, 22. Now, if we do Turbo, actually, Turbo config, we can see we're actually, by default, we're configured for the HTTPS turbo.net domain. Should I make that larger for you? I'm wondering if I need to make that larger. Not cursor so much as font here. Okay, that's probably a little bit better. So by doing turbo config, we can see we're configured to turbo.net by default, right? So we need to configure it for our apps, my demo biz. So we're going to do turbo config domain equals https apps my demo.biz. It'll go out and configure for there. You can see now it's been changed. Then we want to make sure that we have a trusted source. So we do turbo config add trusted domain or source https apps mydemo.biz. Okay, so you can see it's put it down here. You can see we're configured for the domain. All right, so now if we did a turbo login, and you're thinking, gosh, I don't need to do this on everybody's box. You don't need to, because you can run it through the workspace itself. But if you have a local Windows device, you can then have this set up so that it's automated for you. You'd basically have it at this particular, so if you're doing imaging, you could have it at this particular section right here, configured. So if we did if we look now, let's go, one of the things I wanted to do, we have a config. Let's do this. Let's do a copy. And let's go to documents. We're going to do paste. And then we're going to change this to an INI. Okay, we're going to change it. Now we're also going to copy, paste, and we're going to do a .txt. Okay, so Notepad typically will come up there, right? Now let's go ahead and in viewing this, do it at the same time, okay? We're going to now go to Turbo Desktop register default, which is a default workspace, which is what we're registered for. And if you notice in here, we have the INI and the text. The associations has changed. Okay. And if we look at the registry, let's do a refresh on the registry. View, refresh. Not what I was expecting. Hang on. View, refresh. Oh, yeah, that's right. Let's go .ini. I'm looking in the wrong spot. Should have Notepad++, and these didn't change. So and this is why I did the video, right? So that you had real life. So I have something misconfigured here in this particular setup. So if I went ahead and clicked on this, it's just going to come up with Notepad. It allows you, notice in here you have a selection. So this is associated, well, let's see, wait a minute. Oh, let's go. Let's go here. Oh, hang on. Close this. There we go. Let's see if this makes a difference. No, it didn't. I think I'm in the wrong profile. Nope. Yeah, I'm in the wrong profile. That's machine. But if you noticed, it did, the registry showed, now shows Notepad++ if you wanted to. And you can configure it so it always opens up with that. We should be able to go Notepad++, and it should start, or do Google Chrome. And it's preparing the session to bring that up. So there's the launch. Oh, stopping session. Yeah, something's configured wonky. Okay. Try to refresh. And my demo's not working today. I was working on it last night. Thought I had it. Notice the Notepad++ up here. It's trying to launch it, but it's not going to. Okay. So you have some of these configurations to tell it where to go to get the applications, and you could melt those into your image or have them automatic in a bundle or loaded to the registry in a administration group policy or something. So you have those abilities. But again, if we look at the file associations, you'll see here the sample XLS. There's no Excel on this box, and you could see they're registering, and then you could see the XLS Microfocus or Microsoft Excel, and you could see they've changed. That's what I was trying to present. Didn't work so well today. All right, and then by just clicking it, it'll open up the session. All right. That's what I was trying to show. And you can see even Microsoft Office isn't installed. It's coming up with all the errors, licensing, and that type of stuff. Okay. All right. The session handoff we attempted to show, but that didn't work out too well. Download and install a client. We did register the domain, and then the file opens in a streamed app. Showed simulations of those. So that's the least working. If you do turbo help, you have a bunch of different things. So you can subscribe and unsubscribe to workspaces. All right. So this is like a hybrid workspace that we're moving to for remote. And what I'll do is I'll put together a good video that will show all of this in one sequence. So I know it was kind of jumbled. But we can see that something attempted open with, you can see the apps in my demo biz here. All right, and in the shell, HQLM, let me try this. I'm really confused because HQ local machine, software, classes, that's where it shows. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't see it. TXT. Okay. Botch demo. Demo gods are against me today. So anyway, being able to go to the apps, my demo biz, logging in and running your applications. This one just launches Microfocus. And this one, I wonder if this isn't my server, so I'm wondering if some of these had, yeah, so there's a sign into Windows. We don't want that. Oh, there it opened. So it did open. This is ZENcast. That's what I put in there a while ago. This is going to microfocus.com. Do I dare? Do I dare try another? So there's that. If I go here, notice the session is closed. So let's go back over here. This is ZENcast from VM Windows 10. Okay. Now if I go home, let's say I'm going home, I'm going to go out, I'm going to log back in. We want to close this out. Log in at home. We can see the green dot. We're going to do a session handoff. Go to Notepad. And do we dare? Does it come up? That is the question. And if we do this one should log out. There it is, VM from Windows 10. And so this guy is closed. Another session. All right, so we got a portion of that working. That's good. You can see that this is up and running. And then we could save, of course, and do what we need to do. Okay. So again, stream down the T drive with Filer. You now can have a virtual app that keeps the customers or your users safe, launching it from in a virtual space, in a virtual hybrid workspace, and the data can stay on the corporate network. So that way you're not emailing files and passing them off and so forth. Okay, what else was there? There are some video resources that are better than my demonstration out there. And if you download this presentation, you'll be able to see these links. Simplifying remote learning with desktop containers, application streaming. I believe that was Jason as well. You have some Jason Blackett presenters, Jason Blackett and Ron Van Herk, when they've done some things, as well as Ron Van Herk's presentation in PDF form. So also the MFDC documentation is out here for you to look at. But if you want visuals, you have a couple of these here from the professionals that know desktop containers much better than I do. And facing the customer, they're in front of the customers. They experience a lot of customer-related issues. Okay, so these are all different presentations that you can go to. That's what I have today. I appreciate everybody here and struggling through it with me. Thanks, Don, for your help on the audio. The next time is ZCM Zone applying cumulative updates, and we will be out there doing some understanding on that process for the ZCM Zone and how you can keep it up to speed. You could schedule your quarterly maintenance if you don't need those ones in between and get it taken care of. And then, and that I think is all we have for today. I appreciate everybody being here and walking through it. And I hope you have a great week. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Remember, National Yo-Yo Day and Drive-In Movie Day. Talk to you soon. Cheers.